But just because we value what someone brings to the table does not mean that we have to take everything that they bring to the table. People can be in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. All the people I help with one thing or another pay me back with hatred. I am hurting. Let's chat about it. Hey lady, welcome back to your new favorite talk show for Christian women, Grown Lady Chat, with me, your host, Dr. Sherunda Simone. The topic for today's episode was birthed out of one of our live chats on Thursday, and it was because of a comment that was left by one of our viewers. And when I read the comment, it really broke my heart. Ladies, in today's episode, I want to talk about those ways that we can determine the people in our circle, in our orbit, who are not really there to help us, but more to hinder us and even hurt us. It was so sad for me to read what this viewer had to say, because clearly she is giving and giving, and those who she is giving to, they don't want to reciprocate her kindness. And even more so, in her own words, they're showing her hatred. Now, while I don't know the whole story, and no, we don't know all of the facts, it's safe to say that this viewer felt as though she was not being valued in the same way she was showing value to others. And so I wanted to share some key ways that we can determine if people who are in our circle, if they're actually our friends, or if they're enemies masquerading as friends. Frenemies. Are you a woman who enjoys beautiful things? 34/5 Lifestyle has lovely, unique accessories for your everyday look and also for those special occasions. Click the link below to check out our latest accessory collection. Before we jump into today's episode, I want to say welcome back to all of our wonderful viewers. Ladies, I can see that our community is getting tighter and tighter, even though we are growing. And for that, I am so very grateful. That is my heart's desire, for us to create a community of God-fearing women who are about our Father's business. And from what I can tell, especially on Thursdays with our live chats, they're so interactive, and you ladies are showing up, okay? The comment section is jam-packed with feedback and your own input, and I really appreciate that. If you haven't tuned in for a Thursday episode, lady, you are missing out, okay? Because we have some returning viewers who chat it up in the comments and who always drop gems every single time they show up. And if it's your first time clicking on an episode, welcome to Grown Lady Chat community. My goal, my role is to empower, strengthen, teach, enrich, energize, and motivate us to live beautifully in Christ and to accomplish all that God has for us to accomplish in this world. So if you're into that kind of content, then you're in the right place. Be sure to smash the subscribe button and don't forget to put on your bell notifications so every single time there's a new episode of Grown Lady Chat, you get notified. In preparation for today's episode, I was thinking about all these situations in my own life, right, where I thought that I had a friend, but she turned out to be just the opposite, a frenemy. And I came up with about 10 things or 10 signs that we can use to determine if someone is actually for us or if they're against us. Now, for many years, I've said this to myself as a reminder, and I've shared this with others when we're going through trainings and coachings. I like to tell them, look, someone is either for you or against you. There is no in between. And a few weeks ago, during one of our live chat episodes, one of our viewers commented and said there's a Bible verse that speaks directly to that sentiment. Hey lady, are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all-encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our show. A few years ago, I authored and self-published More Than Medicine. And it was my very first book, and I was so excited and eager to share it with the world. And so when I was promoting it and I was telling my friends and colleagues and family members about it, so many people were eager to get their hands on a copy. And I am eternally grateful to each and every person who purchased the book. And even now, the book is still being sold across the world. It's on Amazon.
And I remember there was one particular lady, she and I were friends. We were colleagues who became friends. And in front of my face, she was very supportive. She would ask me how the book is going. She would say she can't wait to read it. And it seemed as though she truly was, at least, as a friend, she was invested in what I was doing. And I truly believed that when the time came for her to support the actual launching of my book, that she would be there and she would be, supportive. I ended up having a book signing party, and of course she was invited, as well as other friends and family members. Well, come to find out, she did not come to the event, but even more so, I found out later that she was telling other people that they shouldn't buy the book because I was a doctor, I didn't need the money, and that they shouldn't support it. Now, in front of my face, she was saying just the opposite. She was giving me congratulations at how impressed she was that here I was, a full-time, doctor and a mommy and a wife, entrepreneur, and I was writing and self-publishing my book. And I know you're probably thinking, well, yeah, once you heard what she was saying, hindsight is 2020. There were cues all along the way that I wasn't picking up on. Over the years, I've looked back and I realized she probably wasn't the best person initially, but I didn't realize that. There were little things that she did, little inconsistencies with her behavior that I overlooked when I should have paid more attention. So lady, a real friend is not going to celebrate you in front of your face and then cut down your achievements behind your back. When I was in college, a group of friends and I, we went to a college party. And during the night, when I was standing with about 2 or 3 of my friends, this guy approached us. And when he approached us, he gave his attention to me. So we chatted, and of course, it didn't go into anything serious, right? But I remember hearing at the end of the night that one of my friends, one of my good friends, like she and I had been friends for years, she said to another one of our mutual friends, you know what? I can't believe that guy went and talked to her, because I was standing right there. And what she was saying was, how could he pass me by? Because in her mind, she looked so much better than me. How could he pass her and go and talk to me? Ladies, let me tell you this. A friend, a true friend, will never question whether you are deserving of favor or blessings or attention. Again, you're probably saying, right, it's 2020 vision because you already heard what she said to your other mutual friend. But I'm telling you, again, I should have been paying more attention, because all throughout our friendship, there were times when she would say little things to me to let me know that she felt as though she were better than I was, but I gave her the benefit of the doubt and pushed through with the friendship. For instance, and now it's time for Dr. Sherunda Simone's random but helpful information. Lady, every day this week I have worn a particular perfume, and every single day this week I have gotten a number of compliments on this scent. This Opulent Musk by Lattafa Perfumes is absolutely delightful. It smells extremely elevated. When you first spray it, it is a bit strong, so don't be put off by that. Give it like a minute or two to soften, and trust me, you are going to enjoy the fragrance. It's long lasting and you'll get tons of compliments. I'll link it down below if you're interested. Ooh, it smells so good. So if you're looking for a new fragrance and you like a good musk scent, then click the link down below and check it out. Let me know if you do decide to grab it and if you enjoy it. They also have a pink one. I believe it's called Yara. That one I have upstairs, and that is so soft and delicate and very day appropriate. I wear this Opulent Musk night or day because I just really enjoy the fragrance. But if you're looking for a scent that's a little more light, then you'll like the pink one also. For instance, one time we went out, we were traveling to another country, and in that country, the native people there, they were very intrigued by people who looked like me, because everybody in their country, or the majority of the country, looked like my friend did, right? So she was not as exotic looking to them as I was. So when we were there, again, she was shocked that they were showing me, even just the women were asking me all these different questions about my skincare, my hair, all of that. And so because of that, I remember her saying, little things like, wow, they really, like you over here, or wow, they really think you're really pretty over here. And the way she said it wasn't like, I agree, it was true shock. I should have been putting all those things together, realizing that maybe, well, definitely, she thought that she was better than me, you know? Um, yeah, I know that it's easy to look back and say, oh yeah, definitely that person really wasn't, on your side as much as you thought once you hear all of the things, in your face. But there were little things happening all along that I looked over. And I realized now that I made a lot of excuses for, those people, especially those two women I was talking about. I made a lot of excuses for them because I wanted to be their friend. I wanted to, maintain what we had. And because I also valued what they brought to the table. But just because we value what someone brings to the table does not mean that we have to take everything that they bring to the table. People can be in your life for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. It doesn't have to be always a lifetime. And I realized that those friendships, while I am so grateful for them in that season, they definitely were not meant to be for a lifetime. I come from a large family. My parents have 5 children, so at any given time, there were 7 mouths to feed. So our meals were always full of food because it was a lot of people. Well, my parents, they had this friend, we'll call her Sarah. Sarah would come over and chat and have coffee and such with my parents. And this one particular time, my mother invited Sarah and her family over for breakfast. So of course, she had to make even more food than the usual. Well, during the course of breakfast, Sarah looks at myself and my siblings and she's like, oh wow, your mother made a big spread. The food looks good. She's like, I bet you all have never seen this much food before. And I remember thinking to myself, why would Miss Sarah say that? And as I grew older, because when it happened, I was a young girl, as I grew older and I began to notice the personality traits of Sarah, I realized that that was a backhanded compliment to my mother. Because really what she was saying was, yeah, this is a lot of food, and I bet you guys don't ever have this kind of food in the house. All the while, she was masquerading that statement with, oh, this food looks so good, and your mother is such a good cook. But why would you have to drop in there about, I bet you guys have never seen this much food before? Really, Sarah? Really? Lady, a real friend, not a frenemy, a real friend is not going to give you a backhanded compliment. Instead, they'll just say something nice and leave it at that. You know those people who you only hear from them when they need something? Or let's say there's a death in the family, or there's some tragedy, or maybe there's some big situation happening. That's the only time you get a phone call or a text or an email. Yeah, those kind of people, they have tried to surface in my life as well. And as soon as I realize that that's all they're there for, only just to give me information or to ask me for something when they're in need, I quickly recognize that he or she is not a real friend. Instead, they're just news spreaders and takers. It's to the point now where if I get a missed call or I have an unread text from certain phone numbers and certain people, I automatically brace myself for bad news, or I know that the person is going to ask for a favor. Lady, a real friend is not going to only reach out when they need something or when they have to relay information. Now, this one, I feel like it's a no-brainer when it comes to determining if someone is your friend or your frenemy, but I'm going to throw it in there anyway because it's important for us to have this conversation.
Hey, lady, are you a woman who loves the Lord and who also enjoys beautiful things? Well, if you are, then you are personally invited to join my exclusive Christian women's group. In this group, we chat about clothes, beauty, home decor, parenting, marriage, cooking, and of course, our Christian walk. It's Christian lifestyle all encompassing. So be sure to join by clicking the link below. I hope to chat with you soon. Now back to our show.
A few years ago, a friend of mine asked me to help her move. So when I got there, it wasn't just me, it was myself and a few other ladies that I did not know. Well, after we helped her move and, I got back home, everything, in my opinion, was fine. Nothing had changed. But at that time, I also was connecting with some of the other girls that I'd met, during the move. So there was this one girl that I met. We'll call her Terry, okay? So Terry and I started chatting outside of the friendship with my original friend, okay? And so we started hanging out together because we lived in the same city. And so apparently my original friend found out. She wasn't happy about that. So she started bad mouthing me to Terry. Well, Terry told me what was happening, and I was like, all these years I thought this person was a friend. But in fact, she was talking badly about me behind my back for years, and I didn't even know it. It took Terry to be truthful and say, hey, did you know that so and so is saying all this about you and basically trying to dissuade me from being friends with you? Yeah, I was really shocked, to say the least. Hindsight is 2020, but I'm sure there were cues that I wasn't picking up on because I wanted to see the best in her at all times, which I don't think that's a bad thing for us to want to see the best in people. I think that's a very good worldview to have. At the same time, we cannot allow our desire for people to be good to make them good in our own mind. A true friend is not going to talk about you behind your back to someone else. For many years, my husband was friends with this man who would only show up when things were going well for my husband. So let's say there was a business venture that was taking off, he would show up. He was there to congratulate, he was there to help and assist, so he was always there too to partake in the blessings. But any other time, he didn't show up. He was inconsistent, he was not really supportive, and it was very obvious to me from the outside looking in that this person was just taking advantage of their so-called friendship. Ladies, if you have someone in your life who is only there when you are winning and when things have plateaued or even if things are declining, he or she is nowhere to be found, chances are that person is not a friend, they're a frenemy. Or let's just call it what it is, an enemy masquerading as a friend. Another way to know if someone is truly a friend or a frenemy is if he or she does not want to give you credit when credit is due. So let's say you are really excelling in a certain field, or let's say you're really shining at a certain moment, but they take every opportunity to dim your shine or even just play down your accomplishments, then trust me, they are not a friend, okay? They're not for you. They don't want you to win. They're actually hoping probably that you don't win. I used to consider myself friends with this woman. When we first met, it was really great because we have a lot of the same similarities where we grew up, how we were raised, our culture, and so we became fast friends. And I noticed that every time we talked on the phone, she was calling because there was a crisis or a problem. She was asking for help, which it didn't really bother me because I like helping people. I like talking through crisis situations. I like praying with others, giving encouragement, right? This is what I love to do. So it didn't bother me initially. It wasn't until I realized that when I were to try and call her and ask for encouragement, the conversation would always track back to what she needed and what she was going through. But what really got to me was this one particular time when there was a big event that was happening to celebrate a major accomplishment that I had achieved. And I was really excited and I wanted her to be there because I truly valued her as a friend. Despite the fact that everything was usually always about her and her needs when we talked on the phone and when we got together, I still wanted her to be a part of this experience. And she said she would be there. She said she's going to come, no problem. She's going to stay with me. She'll, help celebrate this joyous occasion. And when she came, she also asked me to help her out that was something she needed for me to do. And so when she came, it was no problem. I helped her out. I did, the thing for her. And on the day of the event, which was the next day after she came, on the day of the event, everybody in the house was getting ready because she stayed with me, right? And I was like, hey, I'm checking on her to make sure, that she was still getting ready. And she's like, yeah, I'm not, I'm getting ready. I'm just taking a quick nap, but I'm getting ready. I said, okay, fine, no problem. But I had my husband and my family to worry about. So I really couldn't, spend as much time thinking about what a grown adult was doing because I expect that you know what it takes to get yourself ready to be in time to go for the start of this event. Well, long story short, I had to leave without her because she was still sleeping and did not want to get up to come to this event that she traveled all of these hours to come and attend. So I thought. But when I reflect on the situation, she really came so that I could help her out with what she needed. So she came to my house. She stayed the weekend and she got what she needed, but I did not get the support that I expected. And then she left. And there were a couple other things that happened after that that just really made me realize that she was not truly there for me. She was there for what she could get from me. Ladies, look here. If someone is not able to show up for you and help you when you need something and they're only there to take from you, that person is not your friend. Even though they might say sweet things and you have things in common and maybe you have history, she's not your friend. He's not your friend. Remember, they're either for you or against you. There is no in between. You know those people who make fun of you, but they try to pass it off as a joke? Like, oh, you're being too sensitive, or girl, I was just playing with you, or don't take it personally. Lady, no. Behind every joke, there is some ounce of truth, if not more than an ounce. So that person really felt that way about you, but they were just trying to say it in a playful way, hoping that you would get the message without being offended. We see you, okay? We know what you're up to. So if there is someone who makes fun of you but pretends it's a joke and then makes you feel badly about calling them out on it, that person is not your friend. Instead, a real friend who cares about you and who wants for you to win, that person is going to say, hey, out of love, here's what I see, here's what you can improve. And you on the receiving end, you need to be, big enough, woman enough to accept that constructive criticism and then make some improvement. You see what I'm saying? But somebody who just tries to, backhand say something to you and then they laugh it off like I was just joking, you're being too sensitive. No, we don't play that game around here, okay? This is another one too that I saw a lot in like middle school, elementary school. It's when it's just you and your friend, right? Let's say you guys usually hang out, just the two of you. Everything is great. Everybody is playful, no problems, no friction. You're not having any issues. They're not making fun of you. All is good when it's just the two of you. But then when you get into a bigger group and there are more people, your so-called friend starts showing off. And instead of being on your side and being supportive of the same things that she was supportive of when it was just the two of you, then she starts cutting up and cutting away with the rest of the group. No, that person is not your friend, all right? They're either embarrassed to be around you, embarrassed to be seen with you, but either way you take it, that person does not have your best interest at heart. A real friend is going to be the same whether it's just the two of you or if you're in a big group of people. Don't forget that there are new episodes of Girl and Lady Chat every Monday and Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And on Thursdays, our chats are live. Alrighty, lady, that is it. So until Thursday, remember, I am Dr. Sherunda Simone, and I will either see you at the top or from the top. You decide. Bye.